Sorry, heading mode. There we go. Let's put on our noise canceling headphones. Okay, so now I will zoom in over here and I'm going to change the range. I'm going to get rid of the flight plan here. And then I'm going to, you can see we're a little bit off course here. So I'm going to rotate the heading knob. Oh, pitot required. Interesting. Pitot heat on. Rotate the heading knob just a little bit more. It's so nice to be able to rotate the heading knob. You can map headsets. Oh. Really? That's to dampen it down? Oh, that's nice. I didn't know about that. That's a pretty good climb rate. 1,150 feet per minute at 109 knots. We're almost to 9,000 feet already. Did you buy some bricks? You bought a brick and then you sold a brick. Yeah, very nice. We got a subscribe. Maverick 323 with a subscribe. This aircraft pan around is brought to you by Maverick 323. 25 months. Look at that. Denise 737, good morning. Yeah, that was I guess that was a default airport. I didn't have any custom scenery for that airport, so maybe, I don't know, maybe it's time to get a custom one for that. Puff MTD, bringing out the snacks. AFM SR command miscellaneous headset. Ah. If I wasn't on an FSEconomy flight, actually you can pause FSEconomy flights, can't you? I can go in there and change that command if I want to. The problem is I won't even remember it. And I guess maybe I will, because I'm going to be flying this bad boy a lot. We're at 10,700. Map to keyboard, yeah. Map it to like Bose. Meta Knight 121 with the follow, thank you. SR22 Spaceman 2299. This, not only am I super uber excited about this bad boy, and it's working perfectly as you can see here with my G1000 gear. There's a couple of really key cool things about this plane. It's got the most in-depth systems modeling I've ever seen. When I turned on the plane, it actually came up with the fuel chart to confirm the fuel amount, which is what you do in the real plane. The engine page, I mean, that engine page, I don't think you have that on any other Cirrus available out there. I could be wrong, but that's all modeled nicely. The fact that they've consulted real-world SR22 pilots, and they've got these gauges down here, for example. Let me just give you a little bit of a insider tip right here, right? Here's your CHTs. Number 5 usually runs hot. So it's very accurate in its modeling of the cylinder head temperatures. Now, for you guys, as far as leaning is concerned, the EGT gauge down here shows 1475. Should I try to peak that and then come back, or should I just keep it somewhere around 1500? That I can't remember. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. And Snak Air bought 7 of them. Snak Air bought 7 of these bad boys for FSEconomy. First officer, love it. Yeah, I love it. And I haven't even completed a flight here live, and I still love it. Yeah. Well, the only problem with that cow is it's not brown. Other than that, I love the cow. But then again, if you're gonna have a cow named Milkshake, he's probably not gonna be brown. Although he could be. Apparently, you can put him on the seat too. But I haven't figured out how to toggle him. I haven't figured out how to toggle him for the to sit in the seat. Wonder if the FSE model matches the non-turbo one better. Looks fairly static. Possibly, yeah. Crazy Italian, good morning. I got it because it was a nice B-Day present for me. That's the other thing too is they really got the exterior model correct. Like I've talked about other renditions of this plane getting this part wrong. The body where it goes from, the fuselage goes from here up to the tail. There's a lot of people that have got it wrong. This got it right. Well, not a lot of people, but some people. All right, we're almost at cruise altitude. We're at 14,000. We're going up to 15.5. How did the engine start? It went fine. I did the fuel pump, full mixture, fuel pump, added a little bit of throttle, and then cranked it. So, but it, maybe it goes well for me because I have 80 hours right seat in the real world in this plane. I think that if people are having issues, starting the engine, one, turn persistence off, or go fully, do all your maintenance, because I'll go over the maintenance menu here in a little bit, but for the time being, you have the option to turn your persistence off, which doesn't maintain damage that you've done to the aircraft over time. But if you want that, you have it. You have that option there. I personally don't like it, but it's the fact that we have an option to have it is cool for those that do want to have that engine immersion. But the other thing too is make sure you use that fuel pump, add a little bit of full mixture, and add a little bit of throttle, and then crank. Now, oxygen system. Do we even have an oxygen system? Yeah. There we go. Oxygen on. Thank you, spaceman. All right, we're just about to get up to cruise. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. There's a potential for, and I don't know how, I got to talk to the executives about this, and I probably should talk to the executives about this before I say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. This fall, we may have a Snak race that will give away more hundreds of dollars worth of prizes for Snak Air pilots. And the Snak race will be all SR22s. All SR22s. Yeah. O2 hose in center console. Let's grab that. So when oh, is it right there? Am I supposed to grab it or something? Three-passenger race. Yeah, it won't be about money. It'll be about just the 22. Which is what general, FSEconomy is about. How do I put that on, Scotty? All right, there's, I think I need to lean. No, maybe not. Ground speed 163 in building. Indicated 132. We're at 59% power though. Oh, yeah, the mixture's changing to power level. Is that normal for it to be showing such a low percentage of power? 164 across the ground's not too bad. Oh, you were asking me. Yeah, I don't know if we can put that on or not. I should probably read the manual. Yeah, Orbex San Jose is going to be awesome. Yeah. M9 Aviation says use lean assist. Oh gosh, is that on the? How do I do that? You want to come talk to me on Discord, M9 Aviation? Come feel free to. Oh, because I gotta run one thing by you anyway. Talk to you live. All right, let's turn on the assist button. All right, so the peak there. So do you try to get up to 0? Is that the idea? It was at 0 when I started. Oh, perfect. Test 1, 2. Hopefully this is working.
I got you, John.
Good morning, Brad.
How are you?
I need to adjust your volume slightly here.
Yeah, me too. You're a little loud on my headset.
Oh, you're a little bit soft on mine.
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Can you give me one more 5 count?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, it seems like you go in and out. I don't know if it's distance to the microphone or not, but when you got to 4, it was good, and then 5, it dipped down a little bit. But thank you for jumping on here with me.
Hey, no problem.
So this engine peak, so it now says 0. Is that good now?
So 0 is where it's at the peak. That's where your cylinders are running their hottest. And so you get into a situation where you're running either rich a peak or lean a peak.
Okay.
You can use that if you lean it back now, that number will start going negative.
And that's what we want, probably.
And you want to go probably negative. I don't know. I do negative 50, but I think the POH is like negative 75.
Really? Oh, okay. I've really been taxing the engines then.
And then rich a peak is the same way. Just once you're at peak, then you just keep richening it. And of course, the temperatures will come down, and you just take it until you get to the desired negative number. For those of us who don't do math very well, that's a very nice little feature because you don't have to try to figure out what negative 50 is.
Okay, so repeat that one more time. You run 70 minus 75?
I run neg 50.
Okay.
But I think the POH says neg 75.
Okay, well, I'm at neg 55. I like that feature. That's pretty impressive. That is really cool. I better do a fuel switch.
And that'll get you your best, well, it won't get you the best power, but lean up peak will get you your best economy.
I have my boost on the whole time. So when you're doing a fuel tank switch, guys, you hit boost for like a few seconds, and then you can switch your tank, and then you can take your boost off. That's what I was told in the real world. That's very cool. I'm very impressed. I hate to do this, but I got one ReallSimGear question.
Sure, go ahead.
If we can't answer it today, no problem, but I was able to successfully map the flight plan proc, menu, clear, enter, everything that to toggle, the flight plan. If I press it, it toggles the MFD, right? And I'm able to change the range, right? So I know there's a little bit of a stream delay, but and then if you come up here and you go up to the plugins, ReallSimGear device interface, connected hardware. Of course, you can see the mappings of, when I press flight plan 1, it's saying, oh, when you press G1000N1 FPL, actually change it on the G1000N3 FPL. But when I try to, and this may be related to the plane, I'm not sure, but the range works fine, but the pan is, I don't know if you can read the text up there, but the pan, when I do the pan right, pan left, pan right, left, up, down, it says that it's trying to change it on the N3. It's mapped to N3, G1000 N3, but it's actually not panning. Or maybe it's something I'm not doing right, or it may be plane specific. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, in order to enable that feature, you have to press in. You have to click the push to pan. So you click the pan button in. That enables the feature, and then you should be able to pan. But unfortunately, with version 2.6.2 of the firmware, we found a bug in that, so it doesn't always work.
Okay, it's not working for me
So,
right now, but it's nice to know that I have to push it in.
yeah, but if you update, so with the version you've got, it sometimes works, but that's usually the case. You have to press it in to activate cursor mode, and then you can use the pan modes.
Okay, so I'm on version 1.4.09 here on the device interface, and I'm on 2.62 on the PFD and 2.62 on the, or 3.1.5. What version should I be on?
3.15 is the latest version.
Okay, so I have that, and then 2.62 is the latest for the G1000, the PFD.
No, 3.15 is the latest for all of our
Oh,
hardware.
3.15 is the latest for all of them. Okay, so I need to update, which is interesting because I thought that I had flashed this up to the latest, but
Yeah, we just put that up there. Well, we've had it in beta for a while, but we just kind of put it as our main download last week. So
yeah, I
it's fairly new.
downloaded it, but maybe I grabbed the wrong one. Do you know? I'm assuming that I have a Gen 1 PFD instead of a Gen 2.
Yeah, it looks like it because you've got 2 USB ports.
Yeah, I got 2 USB ports. On the download, I downloaded PFD 1 and 2. Oh, version 2.6.2. That's the problem. Okay, so I need to get 3.1.5 for Gen 1. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a 3.15. It'll be G1000 XFD1 and XFD2,
Okay.
and you just put them in. And then the advantage is that's going to give you. I don't know that it'll really help you with what you're trying to do here because you're going to still want the PFD functionality, but what the advantage it'll give you is that our plugin now with version 3.15 soft firmware will allow you to select between PFD and MFD buttons just right there in the plugin. So there's 2 buttons, PFD, MFD, and you just toggle back and forth depending on which mode of operation you want to have it in.
Oh, that'll be nice. That'll be really
And
nice.
that also extends to the GNS and the GTN hardware.
Oh, wow.
So when you're trying to determine whether you want it to control COM1 or COM2, that'll allow you to toggle those versus having to do command mapping updates and or firmware updates.
Okay. That'll be nice because I do, as you know, I do a lot of command mapping updates.
That's not a bad thing to
No,
know, but
no, and in fact, it's nice to be able to know how to do it in case I want to change something. For example, I am probably gonna. I don't know what the volume is mapped on this plane, but I might change that to the flight level change, the IAS again, because that was kind of handy.
yeah, if you're using the command mapping that came with the Cirrus, that's been changed to control the volume knobs.
Okay. Very cool. I'm excited. I think this is one of those planes that is going to stay in the rotation because it complements these ReallSimGear panels so nicely. The other, I said I was only going to ask you one question, but the other issue I'm having is I love this new ability. If you hold the right click down on the, if I hold it down right now on my, listen to this, guys. Hold it down for 5 seconds.
PFD configuration set.
It says
Reload the
PFD
aircraft to see
configuration
changes.
set, reload aircraft. That's not, when I reload the aircraft, Brad, it's not remembering that position for the PFD, but it is for the MFD. So if I right click, hold for 5 seconds on the right, it's working. I sent my log over to Coop, and he's gonna take a look at what's going on, but it'll be
And
nice.
you open both of those pop-ups using the
Brackets.
menu item.
Yeah, I used the brackets, which is equivalent to the
Map to
menu.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's something that's still a little strange because I did a stream this morning with it, and you're supposed to be able to do that and then reload the aircraft, and it should just take immediately, but I just got a crash. So, but then next time I started X-Plane, they were right where they should be.
Okay, so that same thing happened to me when I did a reload aircraft. Don't worry about the scenery. I had a crash as well. But when I reloaded X-Plane, the MFD came up just fine, but the PFD didn't. Maybe I need that new firmware. Would that be related?
No, the firmware doesn't really have any effect on that. The plug-in version would have effect, but you've got the right plug-in version, so.
Because in
I'm not
the
sure why that would be.
that plug-in that allows you to save these positions, it does say that you need certain firmware for those other aircraft that are listed for it, like this Carnados and the Mustang, et cetera, et cetera. It did say you needed a firmware update, but I don't know if that was referring to the MFD or if that's not even on point.
Yeah, the firmware itself the firmware on the hardware doesn't really matter. It's the
Okay.
plugin itself, because in order for it to do, we do some DRM in there
Okay.
so that they only work when our hardware is present, and that's only works with the latest plugin.
Okay. All right. I'll play around with it.
Yeah, you can look and see there's a popups.cfg file in the Cirrus. I think it's Cirrus plugins, SR systems settings or something. You can look to see after you do the right click to see if it's even writing that file, and if it is, then
Okay,
Coop might want
so
to know
that's
that.
up here in the menu.
No, if you open up with File Explorer, just go
Oh,
to.
and where is that located?
It's in the SR22 or 22T, whichever one you're flying, and then plugins.
Okay, we're in the plugins.
SR systems.
SR systems.
Settings.
Settings.
And then there's the popups.cfg.
Pop-ups. It's
you just
there.
edit that.
It did write it this morning.
Just make sure that the settings are in there if you open it up.
Yeah, it's got.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good question. Then, yeah, you probably have to send that to Cooper and just see if it's for some reason not parsing that file right, or who knows.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's early days. All in all, I have to say that typically some day one releases for me I have more issues, and there's a few things like that FSEconomy problem, but B2 helped me around that, and I'm sure that'll be remedied in the future. But yeah, pretty impressed.
Yeah, the guys at Torquesim, Cooper and Steven and everybody else that was involved in this, they worked really hard to make sure that out the door this thing was really, really good. And there's probably 100 things that still they want to do on it and will do on it. But I think one of the good things that everybody can count on is this is not going to be like some of the other developers who release it and then walk away. this will be very akin to the TBM, I think, where they'll continue to update it, fix bugs, add new features.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll be a living aircraft.
even AFM back in the day, the Torquesim, AFM, the Mooney always was getting updates and updates and updates, and just yeah, it's really nice because unfortunately there is a general aviation vendor, manufacturer, developer who tends to release and then does one or two updates over a few years. Quantity over quality sometimes in that regard, but I won't name them.
Yeah, I don't think you have to.
Does the cow on the dashboard mean this is a Gateway 2000 airplane? Man, that takes me back. Gateway 2000. They were the bee's knees, or the bee's computer.
Yeah, I think I actually had a Gateway 2000 once.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna go direct Jackson Hole here. So we're gonna click on flight plan and go direct, activate, and then I'm gonna hit the nav button, and there we go. We're going direct Jackson Hole.
I'm actually wondering, is there a way to get rid of the cow?
Yes.
I mean, not that I don't like it, but
yeah, you just like that.
oh,
What I haven't figured out is how to get the cow down on the seat. Oh, don't open the door, John. Oh, Snak. That wouldn't feel too good at 15,000. You wouldn't even be able to open the door at 15.5, I don't think. But apparently you can get the cow to sit on the seat, but I haven't figured that out yet. Oops. Yeah. Best shipping boxes ever. Yeah, they spent a little bit of money on their shipping boxes. The Gateways did, yeah. I remember Dell and Gateway, they were fighting for each other. The Dirt says FJS has a separate file for Q400 that turned off the weight and balance screen so it didn't interfere with FSE. Yeah, it was. I didn't think I was going to be able to make any money, and I'm not sure how FSEconomy is going to calculate the fuel totals, because I'm not sure if I think what FSEconomy is going to do is it's going to, when I land, it's going to say, okay, so you have this much fuel now, you didn't burn enough or you burned too much, and then it's going to not give me credit for the flight. So, yeah, you just will show much more fuel burned. Okay, so I'm going to pay more, which is not good, but I'll hopefully still be profitable. I guess this is argument to fly wet instead of dry. I just rent dry always, but maybe wet will be depending on the numbers. But anyway, M9 Aviation Brad here is from ReallSimGear, so I'll put him on the spot if any of you guys have any questions. We're a big fan of the product, and yeah, what's going on over at ReallSimGear?
Yeah, thanks, John. We got a lot going on. I mean, we've got, we were kind of ancillarily involved in the development of this aircraft. I mean, not to take anything from Coop and those guys, they did all of the work, but excited to have this out there. We do have kind of a new piece of hardware that kind of goes along with this, so if people are interested, certainly check out the website. But yeah, we've got all sorts of cool things going on. We've got people asking us every day, can you support this? Can you support that? And, so we're looking at what's next on the horizon that people might want to use.
So I'm just going to bring up the store page here. What's is it under the Cirrus packages?
Yeah, if you look at the Cirrus packages, there's two of them listed now, and one of them is our traditional Cirrus perspective package. We've had that for a while, but the newest one is the one at the top left there, the console version. And if you scroll to the bottom, there's actually a link that'll take you. It'll take you there too as well. So it's fundamentally the same as it's got the G1000 PFD MFD, and it's got the center GCU stack. But we've added some things to this to make it a little bit more useful, namely the switch panel which I think is the third or fourth picture. It's a replica of a Cirrus switch panel, so you've got all of the switches that you would ever want in a Cirrus. And then we've got the mini fuel flap starter panel there, which contains a starter key, fuel pump button, fuel selector, flap selector, and indicators. So those two panels come with it in addition to the console. And then we've also responded to a lot of people saying, well, listen, I get this thing, I set it all up, and now I've got 30 different cords and cables hanging off the back. Got USB cables, I got HDMI cables, I got power cables. So what we've done is we've incorporated a industrial USB hub inside the cabinet. So all of the USB goes to that hub, and then we're making use of a USB 3 to HDMI adapter to drive the displays. So if you look at the picture that shows the back, the end result for the customer is just a simple USB cable to your computer, and then a power cable to the wall, and that's pretty much it for cabling. So it's a nice new addition to our package, and it goes along well with the SR22 here, the Torquesim SR22.
All right, so I'm just showing here the backside. So, one cable to rule them all.
That's right, one monster USB 3 cable.
All right, so yep, there goes Fly Girls College Fund. Yep, I gotta. Yep. Actually, I just one or two good stock options, and I think I'll be able to get this. I really do like the one cable. That's pretty nice.
Yep.
I think that if I were to invest in a situation like this, I would probably dedicate an entire sim PC situation to just that, because you really your real estate there.
Mm-hmm.
You've really got to commit. Oh, I like the widescreen panel display there too. Sonos speakers. Very cool.
Yeah, I think that's Jared's personal setup.
I like it.
Yeah. And the good news is if if you're a customer that's already got the G1000s, or you already got the GCU stack,
You could piece it together, yeah.
Yeah, you can just buy the console and then complete it. And I'll drop a little bit of a teaser. There are a couple other Cirrus related things that are being worked on, and should be exciting, but you'll have to wait for more information on that.
There you go, guys. Teaser right there. Yeah, 757 Spy says is this in the Cirrus line of products? Next will be Cumulus and Cumulonimbus. These dad jokes get better every day on Twitch.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is that a 49-inch super wide? I don't know if it was a 49-inch super wide.
Yeah,
I've always wondered how these widescreen, even curved or widescreens, how does streaming handle that? It should still be okay because of downscaling, maybe with OBS?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It is that is the Samsung 49-inch ultra wide, but I have one here, but I've never tried to use it while streaming. I suppose you're right. I suppose the downscale would maybe handle it. I don't know.
Yeah. We got a subscribe. Oh my gosh. That's the first 43 months, I think.
Good looking aircraft.
Iowa Scotsman. 40. Can you believe that, Brad? 43 months, Iowa Scotsman.
Wow.
That's like a car payment.
I know, they've almost paid off their lease.
Yeah, there's a 4-year lease coming up on Iowa Scotsman. Thank you.
I got it. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody with that long of a subscription.
That is he's been here, and I guess that says that first next to his name says it all. Mm-hmm. I believe that says you're one of the first 25 or 50 ever to even like subscribe. Yeah, very cool. All right, you can see here, guys, we're coming up to the Tetons, and we're just gonna fly over the Tetons and land at Jackson Hole. I did see a few streams yesterday of this plane where a few people were having issues with flaring, so I'm looking forward to trying to see how I can land this bad boy. There was a little bit of cowboy rodeo operation going on a few streams yesterday I saw.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I like about this airplane, and they've done a great job on, is the Cirruses in real life are very tricky to land.
Mm-hmm.
They're very speed sensitive. If you come down too fast, you're just going to end up floating it and trying to force it down. And if you come down, they tend to land pretty flat.
Uh-huh.
So you have to really be conscious about getting that nose in the air without ballooning. So it's a really fine line to get the perfect flare. And when I fly real airplanes, I'll be the first to admit I've wheelbarrowed it a few times. I've never prop strike, thank God, but I've landed on the front nose. And when you land on that front nose, get ready for a cowboy ride. It's
boom,
it's not
boom,
pretty.
boom. I saw a picture of someone who did a prop strike in a 22 once. It wasn't pretty. So now I have to be even more impressed with Citation Max and his landings, because I was telling the stream earlier I have 80 hours right seat with him in that plane. Numerous landings, not one of them bad, and some of them eerily smooth, like almost like he sold his soul to the devil in order to land a Cirrus so softly. That sounds like a Diana Ross song or something.
One of the things that really helped me was when I was doing my commercial, getting my training for commercial. They advised me to just use a little bit of, well, it was actually in support of doing, I guess, short field landings where you want to put it down right where you want to put it down. And you always carry a little bit of power there so that you can kind of drive it to the runway, and then when you get to where you want, you can pull the power. And so I've incorporated that into my real flying, and I mean that would be a good suggestion for you, is don't, when you're on short final, don't pull the power all the way to idle. Just leave a little bit of power in there, enough to kind of get your nose in the air a little bit, and then as you're slowing down, you're just continually putting a little bit of back pressure to get that nose to come up, and it's about keeping the nose coming up but not increasing
taking
your
off.
altitude.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you just keep doing that, you'll grease it right in.
And what type of speed are we talking for typically? Are we in the 70 knot range, or can we be in the low 80s?
I try to cross the numbers at about 75.
Okay.
Usually I'm doing about 85 down final. As I'm crossing the fence, slowing it to 80 as I'm crossing the numbers 75, and then if you've got a little bit of power in, then you can kind of control the nose, and then kind of get it in the attitude you want, and you can just slowly back the power off, and it'll settle right on the runway.
I'm going to have to rewatch my own VOD and regurgitate all of your fine wisdom, because I'm feeling a rodeo's coming on.
The good news, the rodeo in the Torquesim is not nearly as expensive as one in the real plane.
That's true. All right, I'm going to lower my altitude here. So we're going to rotate the ReallSimGear altitude knob. We'll go down to 95. I'm going to press the VS button and then press the nose down. And that's going to change the vertical speed down to 600 feet per minute. And then I'm going to bring back... I don't have to bring back the power yet. I can let it go up and near the yellow. 757 Spy says his first nose wheel landing was his 757 in Innsbruck, and pretty much everyone from Laminar was watching as we ended up at the liquor store parking lot. The question I have is, how are you the only person in history to prop strike a 757? That is crazy. 757 Spy, love the stories. How did your flight? I think you were taking a break from the 757 and the A350, and I think you were flying the 320 yesterday. How did that go? You're not a proper pilot. Yeah, there you go. Dirt says, beautiful looking monitor, still not sure I can justify it, but I'm working on it. Well, Dirt, just take that Snak Air paycheck and put it toward that 49-inch curved monitor. I changed my altimeter, so I'll rotate the see how I'm dropping in ReallSimGear. To rotate the ReallSimGear barrel knob down to 3 or up to 3. Wow, 3032. That's high. I'm gonna have to take this online today. I like how you guys are collaborating. I'm gonna use the word collaborate. So, ReallSimGear collaborating with Torquesim, also with Todorico, HotStart, TBM. I love when the companies all work together to make their product better. It's a two-way street, because obviously, you both have a vested interest in, making it the overall both of your products more attractive and more immersive. So I applaud you guys for because sometimes developers have a little bit of friction, and you guys seem to be melding all of these vendors together, which is nice. I wish a few vendors were a little more open to you, Brad, and helping us modify certain situations. But good start, though.
Yeah, no, it's it's been challenging for, there's been a few aircraft developers that we've reached out to, and we just, they just don't have any interest in, whether it's us or anybody else. I think they just don't have an interest, and so we've done some things to build plugins that make our hardware work a little bit better with their aircraft. But I agree 100%. It's, it doesn't cost. I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody to have a conversation. And we've been fortunate enough to work with the Torquesim guys, with Todorico and the HotStart guys, and to some extent the Aerosoft guys as well, where they were all very open to, well, what do you need to do to make your hardware work better, and
Yeah.
they try to make sure that happens. So it's a win-win for everybody, quite honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem that I have is that it's such fun product that it makes me fly my tubes less. Can I just put that out there? It's such a fun product. I'm going to keep these G1000 devices up on my desk longer, and it makes it harder to not want to fly something with a G1000.
Yeah. So B2's asking about the upcoming simulator. Well, I'll be full transparency here. We would love to support the new simulator when it comes out. Obviously it's, whether you like it or hate it, I think it's going to be a big seller for a variety of different groups. But if anybody that has been a part of the process up to this point can probably tell you, Microsoft has not been very forthcoming on how one can integrate hardware into their platform. So
I don't think they have an SDK yet, even.
There is an SDK. They do use some variation of SimConnect, which is what FSX and Prepared use, and of course that's what most hardware manufacturers use to interface with the sim. But it's not a complete. It doesn't appear to be complete at this point. So.
Okay, because there was a developer that had stated, we have not even received an SDK from them, and I guess maybe that was a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know if it's relatively new, but I'm hoping that they really embrace the all the hardware developers out there. For example, I would really like to have my Logitech Cytec multi-panel and radio panel work for the my non-G1000 GA aircraft, and so that stuff like that, and of course the ReallSimGear stuff I want there as well. So hopefully they come around.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will. I mean, they've said all along that they want to support that kind of stuff. In my gut feeling, and again, I have no insider knowledge whatsoever. Disclaimer. My gut feeling is that this sudden release date of August 18th probably even took them by surprise. Asobo probably by surprise.
Wait, and you don't think that you think Microsoft said, "Hey, release"?
I think, again, this is my own opinion. I have no knowledge whatsoever. I just get the feeling that somebody somewhere said we need to get this thing out you need to release it.
Oh wow. I would thought it would have been up to Osoba, but maybe they are a house of Microsoft, but not. Yeah.
Yeah, whether it was Microsoft or maybe somebody at Osoba, it just seems,
Yeah.
it seems very quick for them to go from an alpha stage with, quite a few things missing in terms of third-party integration to a release product within a month. So, just seems strange to me.
Yeah. Dogo agrees with you.
At least somebody agrees.
Or he agrees with this URL. This URL says GA is better than tubes any day, all day, any day. Good morning, this URL. Good morning to Black Sheep as well. Yeah, I don't take JFM anymore except for in the gray market. I think you're talking. Yeah, you answered B2's question. I'm gonna make a turn here. Let's sync up our heading bug by hitting the HDG button, and then we're gonna go into heading mode, and I'm gonna turn because here our airport's right below us, so we'll go left downwind, and then come in for a landing on runway 19. Pray for my landing, everyone. Iowa Scotsman agrees that the release is too soon. I'm kind of the opinion that, well, I guess maybe I don't represent the average flight simmer in that I think a lot of the people that they sell to are going to be ones that dabble in the flight simulation here and there or whatever. But the diehards, I think us diehards are willing to tolerate an unfinished product as long as we have some sort of feeling that things are being worked on. And if they throw it out there, in theory, you'd think that they would identify more things to fix. But then again, there's a lot of people in the alpha that are giving them good feedback for things to get addressed and fixed and enhanced. I think that the question comes down to, is it finished? No. Will it take years to finish? I don't think it'll ever be finished. I think the base platform, maybe in a few years they'll be done with regular updates, and then it'll be up to the third-party developers until a new iteration of the version. Back in the day, what did Flight Simulator come out every 2 years? I think.
Yeah, I don't know because I wasn't a big flights FSX guy, but
Yeah, I think it was every 2 years. So.
I think it'll say a lot about Microsoft if they, it's very similar to the aircraft we were talking about earlier. Are they going to release it and then that's kind of it, or are they going to release it and continue developing on it for the foreseeable future and give regular updates and add new features? I think that'll be a telling sign.
Yeah. But here we are in a Torquesim flight talking about the new sim. Really, we have a beautiful situation right here that we can take full advantage of, and I am so darn happy with this plane. I'd love rotating this heading knob.
Exactly. Yeah, I did the stream I did earlier. I did in kind of southwest Colorado, and yeah, I mean, with just a little bit of work, you can get something that is just as good.
Yeah.
As the proposed what word I'm looking for? New flight sim.
Well, if we think about it, X-Plane really kicked off the high-resolution satellite imagery situation. You had a dabbling of it in P3D here and there, but it never, for the longest time, it did not look as good. In fact, even to today, I think that the ortho product that you have available on P3D is not as good as the ortho product that you have on X-Plane. So, but the new simulator obviously has realized that people want visuals. So, but I've been telling this for a while. I'll be flying 3 simulators for the next couple of years. I'll be 3 simming. I'll have to come up with a rotation schedule. I was going to do a left downwind, but I was a little bit high. So we're now doing a left downwind for the other runway. The wind is negligible, so I can land pretty much any runway. But I didn't want to. I have a little bit of pressure on this landing here, Brad. I'm feeling a little bit of pressure.
What is your speed right now? Is it 95 or 85?
It's 85, which is really slow for the midfield.
Yeah, normally what I do is 100 knots on your downwind, and then as soon as you get to the end of the runway, you pull your power back. In this airplane, it's turning out to be about 25 to 30%. First notch of flaps and pitch for 100 knots.
The problem is I haven't been readjusting my mixture as I've gotten down in altitude. That's been part of the problem.
Yeah,
because I had the right throttle setting. It just, I noticed my power was way low because my mixture was off.
Yeah.
You can't afford 3 sims, 30 South. I hear you, man. One of those sims is more expensive than the other two, though. The new one is relatively cheap. All right, we're gonna hand fly it now, so autopilot is off. And we're a little bit fast now because I readjusted my mixture. We're at 140, so I'm gonna slow down. Make a base turn here.
Yeah, in a normal pattern, you want about 100 knots downwind, 90 knots base, and you'll do first notch and second notch on downwind, or right after the end of the runway, and then base, and then 85 down final.
Yeah, I'm coming a little bit hot. I'll never forget when we were flying into Boston, Max and I, and you know, there's jets behind us, and ATC's like, what's the best you can give me? I can give you 155 till 2 out. And I'm like, oh man, Max is the boss. He's already with the numbers. So he says, I'll give you 155 knots until 2 miles out. And that's what he said. And they said, that's brilliant. I'll never forget that.
Is this a turbo?
No, this is the non-turbo, the normally aspirated.
But is his a turbo?
Oh no, his was normally aspirated.
Okay.
Oop, I did an overspeed on the flaps. I wasn't in the white arc yet. My bad. And my trim's off. Plane must be really trimmed for a good landing here. Coming in a little bit fast, but... And I like how in this plane you put in those flaps and your plane changes attitude. I like that.
Yeah, it has a really pronounced balloon effect and or nose drop effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, just start to leave a little bit of power and start bringing that nose up. Keep bringing it up, bringing it up, bring it up.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of a float. I just don't want to rodeo it. So it was a little bit of bobble in there, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Oh, we didn't have any landing predictions. You guys, I was giving away 5,000 snacks.
Wait, no, I predicted neg 37.
It's funny how the one plugin says 38 and the Sim Toolkit Pro says 47, but we did a little bit of bobble in there, but at least we didn't porcupine it. Ooh. And then I don't know.
Thank you for flying.
I kind of want to have a
Bye
cheat
bye.
situation where we get the rudder steering. I love how the brake, it's true to life, but I think in a sim it looks a little unstable, especially depending on what hardware people have. Do you know what I mean? Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I've not tried it without rudder pedals. I thought Cooper was saying that if there's no rudder pedals, that X-plane itself would override that, but maybe it's not quite working that way.
Yeah, I have a toggle nose wheel steering key that I've bound to. It works with several aircraft. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with this one yet. So that'll probably be my number one kind request, not complaint. Kind request is to implement the option to change it from brake steering, which is what the real plane does, to nose wheel rudder steering. But it's all about that free castering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can actually. Looks like you're about 1200. Yeah, if you've got about 12 to 1300 RPM while you're taxiing, I mean, you don't want to go too fast, but you usually can get enough rudder authority to just use the rudder, as long as you're not too far off course.
You're right.
Usually
the rudders are working here at 1200 RPM.
Yep. So I try to taxi without using the brakes unless, I need to get a little bit of correction, and then just tap the brakes just a tad bit.
And I guess some of it is relative to changing the sensitivity on my rudder pedals, because it just at slower speeds is where I see the problem more for me personally. But I just
Yeah.
I've gotten used to the rudder pedal steering, which I'm not saying take away this beautiful realism, but that's good to know that about 1200, you're right, because I can steer with the rudder pedals. Ooh. And the turns with the braking, it depends on your sensitivity. I've got to be really light with it, or it will do a real jerk. I'm going to do a horrible parking spot up here. I'm going to take a Jets parking spot, just right in the middle. Act like I own the airport.
That's fine. If there's nobody there to marshal you in, park anywhere you want.
Exactly. Flaps coming up. Should have come up earlier. Really cool plane. Really, really cool plane. Well, thank you for joining me, Brad. I appreciate all the help and the insight. And
Yeah.
I also really appreciate ReallSimGear. You guys came through on a couple of repairs.
Yeah. Well, we stand behind the product.
And the repair okay, I'm just gonna come clean. Yeah, there's two items that one I did not pack correctly, that I shipped to a winner here on the channel, and then the second one, you guys saw the clip, the famous clip. I don't know if that caused the damage, but regardless, at the end of the day, you contact ReallSimGear. They are very fair to things who make they've been very fair to me and very prompt to return repaired equipment. So I'm a fan. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, thanks for inviting me on. I'm glad able to help. So enjoy the new airplane. Enjoy the gear.
Give my best to Jared and his wife, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, will do.